Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Happy Thursday. It is April the 7th, 2022. Day 76 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1094. Today, y'all, we're going to read Tablet Y, which is a really short tablet in the complete Annunaki Bible. And then after we finish with that, we're going to read a little bit more of what ancient wisdom expects of its disciples from the actual book. I ain't using my iPad today because this finally came. I couldn't find my other one, so I had to order another one. Well, we'll be done with this in possibly. We'll probably be done with this by Saturday. So we'll be starting 2 new books, probably come Saturday or Sunday. Definitely this weekend. We're going to be done with both of these. All right. So, let me put this down. All right, beautiful people. So let's get started. Father, we thank you for another day. Jerry, yes. Oh, great spirit, open our spirit so that, what? Hold on, I'm reading too fast. Oh, I was reading it wrong. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, great spirit, open our spirit to you so that we glorify you in everything we do. Yes and amen. Hallelujah. All right, beautiful people. Let's go ahead and read this short tablet Y. On page 381. Okay. Using Mardukite materials to devise and plan, the gatekeeper should then have all the necessary physical ritual items thought to be required, prepared, and ready. And the title of this tablet Y is Book of Ceremonial Gatekeeper's Notes. The practitioner should be internally prepared as well, and the body of light may be entered. When using the traditional Annunaki system described in this book, the ritual area may be envisioned and sealed in the manner depicted in the following illustration. This is drawn on the descriptions given in the unearthed Mardukite pentagram rite, also known as the incantation of Iridu or incantation of the deep. And then it shows the sigil for it. Right here. All right, and inside of it, I'll read it. Okay, just in case you couldn't see, because it looked kind of blurry to me. This is Anu, this is Samas, this is Ninurta, Nergal, Marduk, Nebo, and Nana. Okay. Audrey, shalom. Auntie, shalom, shalom. Alicia, yeah. Hey, girl, hey. Okay. Conjuration of a personal watcher spirit is not unique to the Egypto-Babylonian system. By the time of the Assyrians, this had come to be known as the guardian angel, essentially an Igigi spirit or a Sedu attached to each individual human on earth as a shadow. Most practitioners in the past have also found some serious ceremonial success with the conjuration of the watcher alluded to in the Simonian contribution to the mysteries, and since we could find no logical reason to alter this part and nothing except much later Hermetic rites in which to replace it, we have not. In the case of the conjuration of the fire god, the Mardukite chamberlains did find one independently. And then it gets into the conjuration of the fire god. And it says, servant of the great god, companion of the flame, bringer of light, Gira, Gibble, Nusku, you whose mouth is the unquenchable flame, you who is seated in the fire, you whose seat is in the lake of fire in heaven, in whose hands is left the greatness and power of God. Reveal yourself here this day, and in brackets it has a night if you were doing it at night. Reveal yourself here this day night and speak with me, and give me answer without falsehood. I will glorify your name in the Abydos. I will glorify your name in Babylon. I will glorify your name before the sun. I will glorify your name before the moon. Rise up, son of the flaming disk of Anu, great God, Anu, heavenly Father. Descend into me with your holy servant, I invoke thee. Gibil, Gashuru, Umuna, Yanduru, Tushti, Yes, Shir, Ilani, Uma, Yauki, Gishbar, Ia, Z, Dinger, Gira, Kanpa. It is not I, but Marduk, slayer of serpents, who calls thee here now. It is not I, but Enki, father of the magicians, who summons thee. Come forth in and give answer. Come forth and let my eyes be opened this day, night. Spirit of the God of fire, thou art conjured. And that's the end of the conjuration of the fire god. Then the next portion is the Mardukite pentagram, right? And it is actually the last part of this particular tablet. This introductory rite is comparable to what modern practitioners encounter as the LBRP, or the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. And it has reference 121, which says, see also Sorcerer's Handbook 20th Anniversary Edition by Joshua Free, or Arcanum, the Great Magical Arcanum by Joshua Free. The rite is used often in contemporary ceremonial magic. A Mardukite version, also known as the priest's incantation of Eridu, may be used within the Annunaki system. The purpose of the rite is the same, a preliminary and closing rite used to banish the existing energies of a space, acknowledge the beings, consecrate space as a mandala or magic circle to them, and finally to graciously negate resonant ritual energies at the end of the ceremony. We definitely, some of this was in the previous tablet. I had to double check, make sure I wasn't reading the same one over. Yeah, that's almost word for word in the previous tablet towards the earlier part. Okay. In the LBRP, pentagrams of light are traced and envisioned in addition to the activation of the elemental gates. Egypto-Babylonian rituals from ancient times often involved lighting a lamp or lantern at each quarter, as well as a larger central fire consecrated to the fire god. Candles may be substituted when necessary. I am the priest of Marduk, son of our father Enki. I am the priest in Eridu and the magician in Babylon. Samos is before me. Nanasin is behind me. Nergal is at my right hand. Ninurta is at my left. About me flames the pentagram, the sign of our race. Above and below me shine the ladder of lights. Anu, above me, the king of heaven. Enki, below me, the lord of the deep. The power of Marduk is within me. It is not I, but Marduk who commands thee. The final key to the dispersal of prior undesired energies that can affect the harmonic flow of a working are the following words. Enu, Shub, Am, Gig, Apsu, Kish, E, Giga, Gar, Shag, Da, Sisi, Armarda, Ya, Dinger, Ud, Kalama, Siniku, Dinger, Nina, Guyu, Net, Zaranku, Ga, Yashu, Shamag, Muku, Tu. And that is the end. Y'all, did I read this? Hold on. Y, X. Hold on. I feel like I just read this over again. So 380, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think I probably read this again. Francis, shalom, shalom. I feel like I read this a second time. Hold on. Well, that's probably, I don't know. We just gonna move on. I figured I might have to go back and watch. Okay. All right, y'all. If we did, we did. But I feel like I know some things are repeating. I got to go back and watch the video. The last couple of days with the internet going crazy is just, I don't know. But come to find out, the lines that affected me and my neighbors, somehow they had been cut. So apparently they got it fixed yesterday, about the afternoon time. So we're back here today. All right, y'all. So we're going to pick up where we left off at yesterday in what ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. So if you actually order it, they're not going to send you the one that's orange. They're going to actually send you this one. Well, this is what they're sending now. When I had first ordered it, I actually got the orange cover one. You know, like it shows the cover that I posted in the community section. And if you go to Kindle to read it, you will see the one with the completely orange cover and just the title of it. So when you buy the printed version now, they send you this one right here. Okay. So when it has men sitting around an ancient sage and they're just kind of talking. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back a paragraph from where we ended yesterday just to make sure this flows really good. Okay. And if you actually have the printed version, it's on page 24 and we're starting at the second paragraph. Okay. Every 100 years, the voice of the great school is heard, and into the world comes one to bear witness to the unseen. He speaks with the voice of wisdom, and he is overshadowed by the seven lights. Gradually, the mystery school, the seven branches considered as a unit, is leavening the entire loaf of human thought. Today, as never before, men are turning to search for their gods, or we should say that they are rather turning away in disgust from our age of materiality, which is slowly crushing the beauty and spirituality out of life. Our materiality is destroying the souls of men. It is breaking the heart of the world. It is stifling the finer side of every nature. And something within man is revolting against this unnatural oppression. Many who have never given thought to it before are now wondering what the end of it all will be, how far the human race can evolve itself without bringing the entire structure of modern ethics crashing down in ruins. Within the last 50 years, thousands have become spiritual pilgrims and taken up their search for truth, seeking amid the hills and valleys of the human soul for the answer to the riddle of destiny. They are seeking for those mystic masters of wisdom, known to legend, but of whom history bears no record. Throughout all this searching, there is great uncertainty, but one or two facts stand out clearly. First, the majority of people do not know what they are looking for. If they should meet truth, they would not recognize it. The masters they seek are about them every day, but like Sir Lawnfall, they journey into distant lands, seeking for those things which are upon their own doorsteps. Secondly, they would not accept wisdom if they should find it. They would be all glad to have the power that the masters have, but few would labor unselfishly and untiringly for ages to secure that power and then consecrate it unreservedly to the good of humanity. Boy, ain't that the truth? Before passing on to our next subject, let's sum up a few points to be remembered concerning the great work and its workers in the world. First, the instinct of reverence for the unknown is implanted in all human life. It seems that even many of the higher animals must have it, for as they sit at the feet of their beloved masters, their animal soul speaks through upturned eyes filled with love and tenderness. The love of the dog for its master and the love of the disciple for his teacher are closely allied. The dog asks for nothing but kind words and will lay down its life for its master. Such is true devotion. From the savage upward, reverence and devotion to the gods form part of the moral code of all humanity. Many may deny it, but in the form of either faith, fear, or superstition, it persists. Number two, the maker of the great plan, which we call life, the being from which we have been differentiated, has given man certain potentialities, then, when awakened to dynamic powers, will give to each the faculties whereby he may know that plan. By learning it himself and applying his wisdom, he may then reach the position where he can assist others to harmonize their lives with the same law. Number 3, for the purpose of disseminating wisdom wisely among all the nations of the earth, the schools of the ancient mysteries have been established, not by the will of man, but by the will of the gods themselves, laboring through the channels chosen from the most highly evolved children of the earth. Number 4, having established these schools, the superior intelligences became the central invisible powers of these schools and are still in actual communication with the adepts and masters who at the present time manipulate the destinies of these secret orders. Number 5, all growth spiritually must take place through one of the 7 channels appointed by nature for that purpose, and at some stage in his spiritual growth, each disciple will enter the planetary path best fitted to evolve the qualities that lie dormant within himself. That's good. I'm going to read number 5 again. All growth spiritually must take place through one of the 7 channels appointed by nature for that purpose, and at some stage in his spiritual growth, each disciple will enter the planetary path best fitted to evolve the qualities that lie dormant within himself. Number 6, the 7 schools, together with their branches, all in parts of the earth, constitute the Great White Lodge. This is the divine institution appointed to give the ancient wisdom to our planet. It is composed of all the initiates and adepts of the White Path and forms the invisible government of the earth. Number 7, ancient wisdom contains the true and accurate knowledge of the plan whereby the gods, man, and the universe were established, are being maintained, and will later be dissolved into eternity. It is the knowledge of all things in their relation to God, nature, and themselves, and it is the only guide by which man can be shown the path he must follow if he would liberate himself from the ignorance and the darkness of materiality. Last one is number 8. Anyone may walk the path who will accept and live up to the obligations which the ancient wisdom places upon all who would learn the mysteries of life and death. If they will live the life which it points out, they shall know not only the doctrine which it preaches, but also the great ones who have been chosen by their own virtues to teach their younger brethren the ancient wisdom. And now it goes to a new chapter, and it's entitled The Mystery Schools. Demi Shalom. In all the schools of ancient wisdom, the members are divided into 3 general classes or groups. Every seeker after truth is in one of these divisions, whether conscious of it or not. I'll read that again. In all the schools of ancient wisdom, the members are divided into 3 general classes or groups. Each seeker after truth is in one of these divisions, whether conscious of it or not. The esoteric teachings of all religions are the same. The ends to be attained are identical in every case. The only difference between them is that each school is especially fitted to reach and work with the type of mind and body of the people among whom it is established. In other words, we may say that the mystery schools interpret truth along the lines of the familiar, clothing wisdom in symbol and allegory familiar to those who are supposed to receive it. All the schools demand the same inflexible standards of consecration and virtue, teaching that each student and candidate must build his own character, unfold his own spiritual powers, and control his own lower nature before he can receive assistance from any superior source. It would do well for me to read that again so we can hear that again. In other words, let me go back one more sentence. The esoteric teachings of all religions are the same. The only difference between them is that each school is especially fitted to reach and work with the type of mind and body of the people among whom it is established. In other words, we may say that the mystery schools interpret truth along the lines of the familiar, clothing wisdom in symbol and allegory familiar to those who are supposed to receive it. All the schools demand the same inflexible standards of consecration and virtue, teaching that each student and candidate must build his own character, unfold his own spiritual powers, and control his own lower nature before he can receive assistance from any superior source. So pretty much saying you need to take responsibility for yourself and get to moving down a path and growing, right? Before anybody gonna throw you a bone. Before they give you a little bit of wisdom, let's see how diligent you can really be, right? When little children come into this world, they are sent to our public and private schools in order to prepare themselves intelligently for their period of activity here. While they are young and uninformed, their parents protect them, but when they reach maturity, they are expected to assume the responsibilities of life and help others as they themselves have been assisted. No one is born without responsibility. Each living thing is responsible for itself, and when it fails to assume its individual responsibilities, others must suffer as well as the thoughtless one. Ain't that a weird phrase to call them? The thoughtless one. Bruh. Read it again. Each living thing is responsible for itself, and when it fails to assume its individual responsibilities, others must suffer as well as the thoughtless one. As growing children are instructed in the laws of governing their environments in order that they may intelligently assist in molding the destiny of the race, so the mystery schools are instructing those children of men who desire to know the laws that govern the unseen world. These laws, although entirely unknown to the average individual, play an important part in everyday life. The mystery schools are universities where the spiritual nature is unfolded and trained, and man is prepared to become an active worker in the great plan of cosmic universe. So as you get on this path, it's like our own personal Hogwarts that we enter into. Y'all don't know what Hogwarts is. That's from Harry Potter. That's the invisible school for the wizards, right? It's the same thing. You will notice if you into that kind of stuff, right? It's not, well, what the church teaches you. I think they teach it to you from an uninformed point of view, or from a misunderstanding of what they're showing you, what they're conveying in movies like that. Now, some of them may be off kilter, but I spent time and went through Harry Potter dissecting stuff, right? And the things that I've known. What we enter when y'all begins to wake us up and we realize the world around us and how it's really operating, it's like that's your when you wake up, that's like your invitation to Hogwarts, right? And it's like, wait a minute, y'all don't see this? It's like we can see the unseen, where the average person's like, you tripping, get out of here. I'm gonna call the man on you. They can come get you in the white coats, right? Yeah, it's like the same way for real. All right. These laws, although entirely unknown to the average individual, play an important part in everyday life. The mystery schools are universities where the spiritual nature is unfolded and trained, and man is prepared to become an active worker in the great plan of cosmic universe. The world we live in is a world of effects around us, but invisible are the worlds of causation. They are the realities, while the visible, which lives through the power of the invisible, is the illusion. No matter how deeply we study the material arts and sciences, we can never find out the real cause of anything. Science is still seeking and will continue to search indefinitely for a real foundation upon which to work. The four great questions upon all knowledge should be based. All right. The four great questions upon which all knowledge should be based remain unanswered, and science is forced to admit that they are beyond the scope of modern mentality. What is life? What is consciousness? What is force? What is mind? No one can answer, for these are invisible things, incapable of being measured or analyzed. Consequently, no material mind incapable of reason beyond the point of concrete vision will ever solve their riddle. If we would step across the line which divides the true from the false, the spiritual from the material, the eternal from the temporal, we must realize that the mystery schools were established in the world so that this transition might be possible. Through the special instruction and understanding gained by membership and graduation from these institutions, man is enabled to become a citizen of two worlds, for the schools themselves are of two worlds. Their gateways are in the material world, otherwise, I'm glad. Their gateways are in the material world, otherwise none would know that they exist. But the temples themselves are in the spiritual substances of nature. In order to reach these temples, candidates must learn to function in the so-called invisible substances, right? So you kind of get to that point by learning how to meditate and really being able to tap into the source of power. That way you can actually experience the unseen world or the spirit realm. Mom, shalom, shalom. Demi, did I say shalom? If I didn't, shalom. The worlds of causation are invisible only because they are beyond the range of our sense perceptions by certain forms of culture. However, it is possible to develop sense perceptions at present latent in the average individual. These senses, being more highly evolved than those we ordinarily use, are capable of studying and exploring the so-called casual worlds. As power is given to man, commensurate to his wisdom and understanding, it is not safe at the present time to reveal to the world at large the methods whereby entrance to the invisible world is possible. If this knowledge were given to selfish people, unprepared for their responsibility, they would be able to destroy the universe, either through perversion or ignorance. In order to protect this sacred wisdom, obstacles have been placed in the way of its attainment, which only the sincere and courageous would be strong enough to overcome. Years of service, self-purification, and self-mastery must be passed through before any candidate will be admitted to the path of wisdom. Ooh, that's going to be a quote I'm going to put somewhere today. I'll read it again. Years of service, self-purification, and self-mastery must be passed through before any candidate will be admitted to the path of wisdom. 3 steps, degrees, lead up to the temple door, and all who wish to enter, whatever their race or religion, must climb them. There is no other legitimate way of gaining wisdom. Those who seek to enter the temple of the mysteries there is no other legitimate way of gaining wisdom. Those who seek to enter the temple of the mysteries by any way other than the gate appointed by the masters, the same are thieves and robbers. Man is willing to spend from 10 to 15 years on his material education in order that he may surpass his fellow man in some pursuit. Should he then expect to attain his spiritual wisdom in any shorter time? That's good. The position a person occupies in the mystery schools is not the result of choice, ballot, or election. It is his life and the way that he lives that is the determining factor in all his spiritual studies. What? Yeah, so you can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get enrolled for the doctor's course. I want to become a doctor. That ain't where the mystery schools work. But let's see how you live your life, and we'll place you where we see most fit for you to be according to how you currently live and your current standards and morality. We'll place you where we know you need to be. Yes, babe. Put up. The position a person occupies in the mystery schools is not the result of choice, ballot, or election. It is his life and the way that he lives it that is the determining factor in all his spiritual studies. He is automatically placed upon the path of wisdom according to his vices and virtues. The rapidity of his advancement depends wholly upon his own merits, the sincerity, integrity, and devotion to which marks his daily life. He may remain many years in one grade or pass like a comet through many grades in a few years. This depends entirely on how sincerely and honestly he has labored and how completely he has mastered the temperaments and failings which hold him back. The three divisions into which disciples of the great work are divided are given to us out of great antiquity. I need a sip of water, y'all. Hold on. Mom. Yes, Poop. I gave it to Jeremiah. The three divisions into which disciples of the great work are divided are given to us out of great antiquity. They are the same divisions that we find among the priests of the tabernacle of the Jews. They are the same as the caste divisions of India and many others. We may consider them under three headings as follows. The first degree is that of a student. This is the lowest of the three grades of the mystery schools and is composed of persons of either sex who have accepted the masters of wisdom and their work of unfolding human consciousness as the greatest reality in life, and who have, of their own free will, joined themselves to the cause of human progress. This does not mean that they have sworn adherence to any individual or material organization. It means that they have sanctified their lives and dedicated their efforts to humanitarian service, which is the true path of mystery and the only road which escapes the pitfalls of egotism and commercialism, right? Service is a great word. It means a devotion to the needs of the masses, which is so strong, perfect, and unselfish that wealth, honors, and all things this world holds dear will be given up instantly, gladly, without the sense of sacrifice in the service of the ideal it has espoused. The class of student includes all who think, read, study, and aspire along the lines of the ancient wisdom. In its ranks are all so-called independent occultists, various kinds of untrained psychics, mediums, psychologists, and others who have no direct connection with the teachers from any division of the great school, but who are seeking according to their own light to understand the initiate's words as they have heard them or found them recorded in literature. In this group, we also find many student teachers who, while not initiated into the mysteries, are seeking to assist others on the path of wisdom. Such a one was Socrates, who, while himself ignorant concerning many things, gave to the world two of its greatest initiates, Plato and Aristotle. The student is generally without any actual proof of the thing he believes, while some intuitive voice within, however, tells him that the studies he is laboring with are true. He must so accept them. The privilege of knowing the reason for the things that he does is not given to him as yet. He must obey blindly the great laws as they are revealed to him and await the pleasure of the elder brothers. During these years of spiritual darkness, he must spend his life in self-improvement along those lines which he normally recognizes as virtuous and true. He must consecrate himself to the labor of preparing his nature for the greater responsibilities that are to come. Over 100 years ago, a great disciple of alchemy and magical philosophies compiled a series of suggestive rules for those who desire to become true students of wisdom. We have extracted from the writings of Francis Barrett the following thoughts, not quoted in full. Lesson 1. Learn to cast away from thee all vile affections, and in constancy of mind, let all thy dealings be free from deceit and hypocrisy. Lesson 2. Keep thine own and thy neighbor's secrets. Court not the favors of the rich. Despise not the poor, for he who does will be poorer than the poorest. I'm going to requote these lessons today, these few, and I'm going to post them on Facebook and in the community section. Lesson 3. Give to the needy and unfortunate what little thou canst spare, for he that has but little, whatever he spares to the miserable, God shall amply reward him. Lesson 4. Be merciful to those who offend thee or who have injured thee. For what shall the man's heart be who would take heavy vengeance on a slight offense? Thou shalt forgive thy brother until 70 times 7. Lesson 5. Be not hasty to condemn the actions of others, lest thou shouldest the next hour fall into the very same error. Despise scandal and tattling, and let thy words be few. Lesson 6. Study day and night, and supplicate thy Creator that he would be pleased to grant thee knowledge and understanding. Lesson 7, and it has omitted as irrelevant. Lesson 8, avoid gluttony and all excess. It is very pernicious and from the devil. These are the things that constantly tempt man, and by which he falls a prey to his spiritual adversary, for he is rendered incapable of receiving any good or divine gift. Lesson 9. Covet not much gold, but learn to be satisfied with enough, for to desire more than enough is to offend the deity. These rules for spiritual propriety are as good today as when they were first written, and should be deeply considered by all students, for all things come to man by attraction, and if seeds of wisdom and virtue are not within himself, the gods can bestow nothing upon him. The duty of every student of ancient wisdom is to make himself valuable to his fellow man, for when he does this, he makes himself valuable to the plan of nature. The student must always realize that he is preparing himself to become the hands and feet of wisdom, for when wisdom enters into the soul of man, the wise becomes its servant. The student must always bear witness to the divine urge of progress. He must train his mind, control his appetites, and make himself a well-balanced example of human growth. His intellectual pursuits should be largely along the lines which will assist him with his judgment of human nature. He should study both people and things. He should not become a recluse, for if he loses touch with the world and the things of the world, he cannot efficiently serve that which he has given up. That's good. His study is to view life as a place and a time for learning, realizing that wisdom is the jewel to be extracted from material existence. He must always keep in mind that he is not studying for himself alone, but is building for the day when, his long years of preparation finished, his wisdom will be used by still greater powers to assist in those great problems which ever confront the world. Every student should seek to develop talents. He should try to make two blades of grass grow where one has grown before. He must become a creative genius, an outstanding example of intelligence in the highest sense of the word. But it should always be unselfishly. He should never become attached either to the work he is doing or to the positions that he occupies, for the master may call him to other labors at any moment. If he can legitimately and honestly become a power in the community wherein he dwells, he should assume such responsibilities, for they offer greater opportunities for the accomplishment of the greatest good. For they offer greater opportunities for the accomplishment of the greatest good to the greatest number. It is not expected that a student should have clairvoyant powers or any personal spiritual abilities. In fact, it is better that he should not, lest in his unenlightened ignorance he pervert them. Students seeking to gain various forms of mediumship and psychism by occult exercises and mantrams should take warning. One of the masters of wisdom has distinctly stated that all forms of phenomenalism are to be rejected by the student, which is, I mentioned this before, I was listening to one great ancient sage, and he was telling him that as you develop discipline in your life, you are going to begin to notice that you will acquire certain cities, or you're going to develop certain powers that other people would think are magical or supernatural. He pretty much said, don't leave class early, right? He said, allow them to develop and flow through, but don't begin using them to prostitute people. Don't begin prostituting those things and those gifts that are being bestowed or gifts that are developing in you to take advantage of other people. He said, as a matter of fact, if I find out that you're using any of them, he said, I'm going to close your eye for good, right? And now I completely understand what he meant by doing that, because you're not developing these things to take advantage of people or just to build your kingdom selfishly while the whole world goes to pot, right? You should be developing yourself to join the ranks of the what do you call it? The other ancient sages and the other ancient what's the word they call them? The other ascendant masters, to help the entire creation, at least all those who have been assigned to you, also raise up to a level of wisdom, right? Thereby rehabbing the current world where we live, right? Making this a better place to live, taking the rulership of the world out of the hands of the wicked and restoring it to the hands of the righteous, right? But if you begin accepting bribes, you become compromised, and you really can't be used for great things for real, right? So that's why rulers, leaders, they should not accept bribes. Nobody should accept a bribe, right? Because if you can be bribed, that means if you are ever put in a position of power, you can be bribed and they can pretty much take over whatever it is you're doing, and they'll hold you. Well, you wouldn't have any leg to stand on. You couldn't stand up and speak, just like people who get in positions of government. If they've accepted a bribe somewhere down the line and somebody actually recorded it, when it's time to stand up for true justice and for something that's right, if there's somebody within that group of people that doesn't want the overall good to happen and they know you are going to have the power for it, all they're going to do is like, you remember this? I got it on tape. I promise you, I will blast it all over the world if you even say a word, right? Bribes hurt you in the end, and they destroy any kind of progress that would have come about had you not develop your own personal character, right? So even when you begin to develop certain gifts or talents or clairvoyant things that happen, and you can psychically read people's mind, when that stuff begins to happen for you, the more you become, the more diligent you are, and it will. Don't take those and use those things for filthy lucre, right? Don't. Just don't. And you're going to have many opportunities to showboat and showcase what you can do. I'm telling you, it'll lead you to an early death. It really will. So be careful. All of us have to be careful of that. It is not expected that a student should have clairvoyant powers or any personal spiritual abilities. In fact, it is better that he should not, lest in his unenlightened ignorance he pervert them. Students seeking to gain various forms of mediumship and psychism by occult exercises and mantrams should take warning. One of the masters of wisdom has distinctly stated that all forms of phenomenalism are to be rejected by the student. He must build a spiritual, mental nature and not merely allow his emotional palate to be tickled by weird phenomena. No true student of any legitimate master would ever attempt to converse either with the living or the dead through the mediumistic powers. Some schools have made it clear that students will forfeit their right to instruction by seeking to communicate with the departed or by indulging in familiar forms of psychism, right? We learn that through scripture, right? Don't communicate with the dead. First, we should learn about what they are, who it is, what the dead really are. We need to learn truth from error, what's living, what's dead, right? And go through that. And once you're able to decipher that and you know what is truly dead, you don't communicate with them because they can't offer you any kind of wisdom because they are literally still asleep. And those who are actually in the spiritual realm who are woke, and you will find woke people who have departed this physical realm who are truly alive and not dead. And you will also see them here in the physical realm, and they go between the two. Y'all got to learn wisdom there. We all have to, and be able to decipher between the two and understand who's truly dead, and we are not to communicate with them, right? Okay. That's like another whole lesson, like a whole course. It really is. I'm going to read this again. We're just going to go on. Some schools have made it clear that students will forfeit their right to instruction by seeking to communicate with the departed or by indulging in familiar forms of psychism. The student is not expected to be a great occultist or a great mystic. Such aspirations belong only to the higher grades. It is, however, demanded by the masters of the student that he shall be simple, humble, honest, and patient, struggling daily to gain master with the true virtue over the undesirable traits of his own nature. He is not in a position to dictate what the masters will have him do. He must accept unquestionably the responsibilities that are given to him of the great unknown and fulfill each of them as honestly and thoroughly as lies in his power. At this period of probationship, the student is gaining mastery over the little things. Let him make sure that he is successful. Let him struggle to control the sharp tongue, the critical mind, and the abnormal viewpoints, that they should not later bring dishonor upon the spirit of truth when it shall come to dwell within his nature. Let me read that again, y'all. That was so good. At this period of probationship, the student is gaining mastery over the little things. Let him make sure that he is successful. Let him struggle to control the sharp tongue, the critical mind, and the abnormal viewpoints, that they shall not later bring dishonor upon the spirit of truth when it shall come to dwell within his nature. The true student is cutting out a finer character from the rough ashlar that has been given him. He is struggling to improve each day just a little, asking not for power or light, but for strength to shape his destiny more truly to the standards of wisdom. These are the labors of the student. His worthiness to receive greater knowledge is tested by the long years of ignorance, often by much suffering. Though through all he must be obedient, patient, and true, realizing that each sorrow is an opportunity, each misfortune a lesson in disguise. That's good. This whole thing is good. Read that again. This is preaching to me today. Okay, look, hold on. Look. His worthiness to receive greater knowledge is tested by long years of ignorance, often by much suffering. Through all, he must be obedient, patient, and true, realizing that each sorrow is an opportunity, each misfortune a lesson in disguise. These lessons he must learn. When this task has been done, they vanish to return no more. So once you pass that particular test or that cycle, you never have to repeat it because you gained the lesson that you needed to learn from it, and you've been able to implement it successfully. So that would never be an issue. Even if it comes up later, you'll pass it with flying colors, not even thinking about it. Like catching that arrow like Bruce Leroy did. How did you know? I did it. It's just, I caught it. I knew that that was the one, right? When he offers himself to the master's service, the student is filled with unworthy thoughts and elements. Behind him stretch many ages of thoughtlessness and crime. His higher bodies are a mass of bad karma, and he is totally unfitted for his labors. Before wisdom can be given to him, it is necessary that his evil nature be cleansed. So the masters give him the labor of purifying himself as the first test of his sincerity. All that follows depends on how that first work is accomplished. I'll read it again. So the masters, before wisdom can be given to him, it is necessary that his evil nature be cleansed. So the masters give him the labor of purifying himself as the first test of his sincerity. All that follows depends on how that first work is accomplished. Thus, his consecration often results in years of sorrow for the student, but everything has its price in nature, and a cleansed soul is the price of wisdom. Yo, that is the title for the day. Look, hold on. That is going to be the title for the day. Yo, listen to that. Thus, his consecration, excuse me. Thus, his consecration often results in years of sorrow for the student, but everything has its price in nature, and a cleansed soul is the price of wisdom, for it is only a balanced and honest nature that can honestly think or honestly analyze. All the perversions of the past present their bills and demand payment. A great spiritual house cleaning follows, for all these bills must be paid. No true religion teaches a student that these debts can be escaped. Yeah. I'm sitting here like, look, this is preaching to me there. My student loans.
Girl, bye. You funny.
Look,
no, listen,
y'all.
please don't
No, seriously, listen.
Oh, put some of debt.
Oh my God, my student loans, y'all. Let me tell you.
It ain't that serious, man.
It is that serious to me. I woke up wanting to cry today. Like I really did. Like
you woke up this morning looking at me. I'm like, dang, what you staring at me for? That was funny though. I mean, it's not your fault. They the one did it like that. You didn't. They could have done it way better. Bro.
Like I'm really about in tears about this big thing we about to do, and we was like right there, and now it's like you have to take care of this. I'm like, but it's taken care of. They're in deferment. No. They can't be in deferment. I mean, they can be in deferment, but
you got it categorized. They got it like 20 different accounts, and they can.
Okay, so going to I'm like this forever student, right? And my student loans are almost $127,000. You know, so yeah. So if I seem a little bit off today, I'm dealing with this whole thing in the background, like literally wanting to wake up crying, getting some information that we got last night, just really thinking about this. And now I've made steps to go ahead and do what we need to do. They said, Miss Murphy, all you need to do is just consolidate it. I said, yeah, but it's going to extend this process another, y'all said, how long? 30 to 60, possibly 75, 90 days. Like, I was not expecting that because y'all told me everything was good up to this point. Now we get to this point, it's like, yeah, no, we need to take care of this. When you could have told us that
it's
back then.
Clue. It's always going to be another clue.
Like I'm sitting in the bathroom this morning just rethinking my whole life. I'm like, what is all this for?
It has to get correct.
I'm doing too much. I'm probably just a little over emotional right now, y'all. It's just doing too much. Okay, my whole morning has been thrown off because of this. Okay, let me finish. We got about 5 minutes left. Okay. Yeah, I know. We got another clue, another meeting. I've been trying to pull myself together all morning. I really have. Okay, let me finish it. We're gonna pause. Thus, his consecration often results in years of sorrow for the student, But everything has its price and nature, and a cleansed soul is the price of wisdom. For it is only a balanced and honest nature that can honestly think or honestly analyze. All the perversions of the past present their bills and demand payment. A great spiritual house cleansing follows, for all these bills must be paid. No true religion teaches a student that these debts can be escaped. Oh, how...
Yeah, trying to escape.
I know, I'm just like, just push it off just a little bit more. No, Pamela, we cannot go any further at this point.
You push it off for 5 years. I mean, what
that's going to affect the next thing. And because the government is going to require receipt of this, I'm sure they're going to ask for it for the GSA certification. They're going to want to see it. I'm just like...
I think are they already past that process?
No.
They might. I mean,
okay.
If you get corrected now, it's going to be corrected.
Right.
So, I mean, at least
it's really not a big thing. I'm just... You know how you're so excited about something? It's like, yeah, you're ready to pull the trigger like right now. And then it's like, nope, you got to wait a little bit longer. Like all hopes up, everything is moving. Now it's just like, not that it's bad. It's just a shock to take it in at the last moment and now have to adjust and it's just, I'm dealing with it better than what I would have a few months back. Okay. And we're going to pause at the end of this little paragraph. A great spiritual house cleansing follows, for all these bills must be paid. No true religion teaches a student that these debts can be escaped. A man does not avoid his responsibilities by becoming spiritual. He is merely given the privilege of paying his debts sooner.
That's it. That's the truth right there. Because you're spiritual don't mean that it goes away.
In this great truth, Christianity has been false to its founder. For Christianity, as we have it today, is a religion of vicarious atonement until, in referring to the spiritual status of the average Christian, one of the masters stated, the pauper angels of the Christian heavens. If the student takes up the ancient wisdom to escape his sins, he fails before he begins. For the masters want only honest men and women in their service, and all honest people should... If the student takes up ancient wisdom to escape his sins, he fails before he begins. For the masters want only honest men and women in their service, and all honest people shoulder their own responsibilities. Yeah, we're gonna pause right here, y'all, because we got another meeting here shortly at 9. All right, so sorry for the being a little bit out of it today. So now just my home trying to pull myself together with some news we got yesterday. So with that being said, beautiful people, I hope y'all enjoyed what y'all could from today. Where's my thing?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Let me just do it this way. All right, so thank y'all for hanging out today.
It is.
It is Wednesday.
I got these.
No, I'm sorry. I'm doing it wrong. I'm sorry. It's Thursday.
I think I have an idea.
It's Thursday,
No, you said
April the
Saturday.
7th, 2022. Day 76 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1094. We read tablet Y. Again, I'm almost positive now that we read that twice. Y'all can't pull myself together this morning. I am. I'm doing better. We read tablet Y again in the complete Annunaki Bible. Better get down. Wait. And we read pages 24 through 35.
Mom, we miss karate.
No, Pooh. And what ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. All right, beautiful people. I know this morning has been all kinds of all over the place. I'm sorry. I really do. I apologize. We need to go ahead and end this. Father, my prayer today is help me. Help me pull myself together today before we leave out this house, out into the world again, just doing business. All right, so.
Mom, you can
That is it. Help me and help all those under the sound of my voice today. I don't know what else to say. Seriously. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Where's Audrey?
She's a young lady who watches with us. Okay.
This is her.
Yep, that's her. Amanda. Shalom. Thank you. All right, beautiful people, that's it. We gotta go. All right, so I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. All right, Pooh, go ahead and end it.